And welcome to the Part-Time Nerd podcast with me, your host, Alan, and joining me, Mr. Agent Dave. How are you doing today, buddy?
Doing pretty good, man. How are you?
You know what? I just got done watching this What If episode. And I'm pretty jacked up. I'm not gonna lie. I thoroughly enjoyed this episode.
Yeah, it's right,
Thoroughly
right
enjoyed
out of the gate. Right out of the gate, huh?
right out of the gate. So here we are, talking about What If Ultron won, episode number 8 of season 1. Let's get into it. What do you got over there, buddy?
I liked it too. It had two of my least favorite characters, but I pressed on, and it went all over the place. I thought it was fantastic, a lot of fun, amazing fight scene at the end. You know, they're working towards what you've been saying, right? They're working towards the multiverse. They're setting up the next step. They're setting up the next movies and stuff like that. Looking forward to it. I had a couple notes, but we'll talk about those later. But overall, man, glad to be back in the saddle and enjoying some of these great Disney Plus Marvel collabs.
All right, yeah. This episode starts off. You got Hawkeye and Black Widow battling all these Ultrons, um, and they were kind of more badass than they've ever been. Like Clint's
Yeah.
got a robot arm.
I was going to
That
ask, so, like, he's the Winter Soldier in this one, I guess.
apparently,
He's righty on this one, righty.
but yeah, he's going through there, mowing them down. He's even more deadly with his bow and arrow here. Black Widow is kind of uh, biker boys doing that action.
On a motorcycle, yes.
Yeah, she's doing that, but then she gets off for a second and just completely, I mean, she's always been a badass in the hand-to-hand combat area, right? So,
That's what I
but
did.
yeah, you've got all that going on, and then it's, the big thing of this is what if Ultron won, and it goes back to the events of Avengers: Age of Ultron, where Tony Stark, they've got the body that they're building. Well, the Avengers get to it first and create Vision. Well, in this world, they don't get there first, and Ultron gets there first, and he takes over. And with that body was just almost unstoppable. Uh, Mows through them, even to the point where he's taking care of everybody and everything's taken care of on Earth. And then Thanos shows up, and he just kind of looks at him and goes, "This is interesting," and then just slices the dude in half. Just
I know, and that was my first thought. I was like, "Well, why the hell didn't he do that in the movie? Instead, he let him get his hands on him and rip that thing out of his forehead."
yeah.
I was like, "What the?" I had so many questions. There's so many concerns. But yeah, I was like, I even wrote "Hello, Thanos," but then I was like, "Oh, bye, Thanos."
Well, it's been fun, buddy. But that's your difference between your hero and your villain, though, too. Whereas the hero's not going to go and just instantly kill them; they're going to battle, capture, whatever. And Ultron's just like, "Zoop."
That's a typical hero flaw. You know what I mean? They need to get in there and lay some waste to people. But you do get an array of planets that are being destroyed by Vision. We could call him Vision, right? It is Vision. Or
Well,
we
he's
can
Ultron. No, he's Ultron.
he
Yeah,
is
he's
Ultron.
Ultron.
Excuse
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
Takes out Asgard, Sovereign, Ego, Xander, and then Captain Marvel shows up and fights him for a little bit. And I'm like, I mean, if he just took out Ego, is Captain Marvel more powerful than Ego? And then we find out that he's like letting her beat him up, and he just like stops and goes to town.
Lays waste to it all, and then he's just kind of sitting there, and then it's that moment of Watu's, talking, and he's like, "Whoa, what do we have here?" And Ultron can see him and see where he is, and um, then you can kind of see that he sees the multiverse. Like he gets the feel of all that, which was pretty awesome. And then that
That was
leads to
creepy.
yeah,
He was
yeah.
like,
He's just like, "Oh, look what I can see here. I can see everything."
yeah. The Watcher got scared, and then he shut it off. But then, man, Ultron found him, come around,
He,
and
he
then just
yep,
started cleaning up stuff.
he finds him. Meanwhile, Hawkeye and Black Widow, they're trying to find Zola. is what they're trying to get. It's the only computer program out there. It's completely analog. It's not hooked up to it's not in the cloud. So Ultron hasn't gotten access to it yet. And they're going through and they're at this KGB um, facility where they have all these, and it's all hard files. It's all paper files. And Clint's like, haven't you guys heard of like flash drives? She's like, well, if we had flash drives of all this, it kind of would have gotten wiped out, right? This is a lot easier. This is harder to steal and easier to get rid of
Mhm.
the paper files, which is true. That's
Yeah.
back when times were better back then when everything wasn't up there uploaded in the cloud. I'm just saying.
And he almost the Watcher almost gets involved because Clint is like, or Cliff or Clint. Why do I keep saying
Clint.
which? Clint. He
Clint.
he's losing faith. He's losing hope. He doesn't want to be doing this anymore. And he's like his hands right there on the box. And he's like, that's it, that's it. Whatever. The Watcher, he doesn't get involved though. And it just happened to be dumb luck that they went back to that same box, found Zola, went over there, and obviously downloaded him into an arrow. And
Yeah.
that's
Put them in the flash drive that puts them in one of the Ultron bots that
Mhm.
upload them to the hive mind, except for that doesn't work because Ultron's not there. He's battling Watu. Like you have him and Watu going toe to toe, which was just awesome. Like I thought that whole fight scene was cool. I loved watching it. And not just that, but just the way that they did it where he's hitting him and shattering through all of the different universes
Yeah.
in there. Like almost like with every punch, like he punches them, they're in another universe. Punches them again in another universe. And it was just like, holy crap, this is awesome.
Yeah, different universe, different time periods and stuff like that. I
Yeah.
mean, everything's just flashing. This to me was one of my favorites for sure with the graphics and whatnot and the effort they put into it. Because you're right, they're like flying through the ceiling of another universe and then flying through the floor of it. I mean, it was the fight scene, I think, is one of the best parts of this thing.
Yep.
Really enjoyed it. And it wasn't too long, but it took up a pretty good amount of time. But you get to see both their strengths.
Yep. Yep. And you're going through all that. Meanwhile, when they're trying to get away, Clint and Natasha and Zola are trying to get away, you have the essentially the reverse of Endgame happen, where you've got Clint hanging and Natasha's got him and trying to pull him up, and Clint just kind of looks at him and says, "I'm tired of fighting," which was the reverse in Endgame when they're trying to get the Soul Stone, and one of them has to be sacrificed. Natasha's the one that sacrifices her life for Clint. In this one, Clint's the one that sacrifices his life for Natasha. So that's an awesome kind of throwback to that little Easter egg, and to see the reverse of it happen. Um, but and then you go back over to Ultron, who was just beating the living crap out of Watu at this point. Like, it's not going well for Watu. To the point to where he's like getting ready to like crush his skull, and he gets a little bit of power left and kind of uppercuts and breaks his hold and escapes. And you see he's sitting there in the prison that Supreme Strange created for himself, and he's just kind of like, oh, this isn't going well. And he's like, "You gonna say it? I'm gonna make you say it." He's like, "Really? You're gonna make me say it?" "Yep, you have to say it." And he's like, "All right, I need your help."
Oh,
And that's where you leave this, and that's where this is building towards, which we've been seeing it since the beginning. You've been seeing all the different Avengers and all their different areas and the different multiverses. Now we're going to get that collaboration between them all next week in episode 9, the season finale of them fighting Ultron. And I cannot wait because you're gonna get more T'Challa Star Lord. You're getting Captain Carter. You're gonna get the Supreme Strange. You're getting them all. They're all gonna be back for this, joining forces as an Avengers team, and it should be awesome.
yeah, looking forward to it.
Looking forward to it. It's great, and it's all. This is also setting up everything. This is already now you're setting precedent that Watu will intervene, um, and I think that's going to continue on into the next phase of the Marvel movies, especially in Multiverse of Madness.
Cool.
But I mean, all in all, a great episode. Loved it. Enjoyed it. I'm gonna watch it again as soon as we're done with this. I'm gonna fire it right back up.
Yeah, I always throw it right back up just in case I miss something. But this time you were like, I'm ready. I'm ready now. I'm like, okay, well, let's
We
do this then. So I
we
know.
both finished at the same time. Like it was like you sent me the message like I'm done. I was like, so am I. Let's go.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got any last thoughts on this one?
No, it's a good watch. It's real easy. I mean, when I first turned it on, it was like 30 minutes, it said. I was like, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
But it wasn't the whole 30 minutes, obviously. The intro and the exit and the credits. But real quick watch. It went by just like that. So
Yeah,
definitely check it out.
it's fun. It doesn't feel like it's the longest episode of the season, and it doesn't feel like it because it's action packed. Things are happening the entire time. Even when you're at those points where they're just kind of talking, um, things are happening. You know, they're sitting there searching through files looking for Zola, but you've also got that Watu's right there, and he's like, "What do I do? Do I intervene?" You know, he's just constantly going through that inner monologue of what do I do? You know, because this is this is bigger than I thought it could be. This is something that's huge.
Mhm.
And if I don't intervene, I'm going to be pretty lonely. I'm not going to have anybody to watch. So
Right.
yeah,
Yep.
a great episode. But guys, thank you so much for watching. As always, make sure you like, share, comment. All comments are welcome. Good, bad, ugly. Maybe you got a funny joke. Tell us a joke in the comments this week.
Or snarky.
Or snarky comments. We'll take them all. If you got any questions, suggestions, shoot it over to parttimenerdpodcast@gmail.com. We'll talk to you guys later. Deuces.